Hello everyone. So, we all know people love Excel, and most recently, people started to love generative AI, and especially the models developed by OpenAI. It has been quite some time since people has been asking, how do I leverage OpenAI on my Excel file, on my Excel data? If you look up online, there are already several solutions to that. But either are the solutions using the public version of OpenAI, where the enterprise customers worries about whether or not their input data, their existing data residing on Excel, will be used to retrain those models. Or there are some add-ons from Excel Marketplace that you can download, but they don't give you quite the flexibility you want to have if you have been working with Azure OpenAI Studio for a while. So Azure OpenAI is a more secure way to interact with the same model developed by OpenAI, and you don't have to worry about your data being reused to retrain the model in the future. And as you learn more and more about Azure OpenAI, you will want the flexibility to control or have access to the parameters of those API calls so that you can be more creative, you can be more goal-oriented to finish your specific task. In this video, we're going to talk about how to solve that. Everything I'm going to show you and talk about is already documented in this GitHub repository. I will post this URL to the video description before this video is uploaded. Okay, so let's begin. If you follow this README file or as a step-by-step guide, you will see first the three prerequisites. The first one is that you have to have access to an existing Azure OpenAI service instance, as well as you can have access, or you must have access to the API endpoint and API key. Second of all, you must be authorized by your organization to enable the developer capabilities, which is the developer ribbon, developer tab, so that you can use the macros function within Excel. And the third one is the easiest one. All you have to do is to come in here and download this normal Excel file. Okay, now the file is downloaded. Let's open that up. So as you can see, this is basically a template without any macro settings. Let's enable the editing first. And the next step is to check if you already have access to this developer tab, or you can see this one. If not the case, we can go to the Files, Options, and under Customize Ribbons, and we can activate this checkbox and hit OK. After that, you will be able to see this tab. The next step is to click on this Visual Basic button so you can go into this VBA editing tab. And from here, we want to first go to the Tools and under References, activate two references for this VBA project. Scroll down. The first one we're going to activate is Microsoft Scripting Runtime. And the next one is Microsoft XML v6.0. With these two checkboxes checked, clicking OK, we're halfway there. Now we need a helper module to help us interact or work with the Azure OpenAI API call response, because that is a JSON object. And to do that, let's go back to the repository. Here in this README file, we'll find the link. Let's click on that. And you have to download the latest zip file of vba.json. With that downloaded, let's extract that. Okay. Now let's go back to our VBA editing pane and click on Files, Import File. This is the extracted file that we just downloaded. And let's click on this JSON converter.bas, which contains the code for this helper module to work with JSON files. Click Open. And now under the modules folder, you will be able to see this module. And the last thing we're going to do within this pane is to copy paste the function definition code from the same repository. And to do that, let's click on Insert, Module, head back to the repository, scroll down, and click on this button, and head back to the VBA editing pane and hit Paste. Now, everything we need in this environment is finished. All we have to do is to hit Save. Here is a warning saying that we're building something like a macro function on a very normal Microsoft Excel file, which is not allowed. So we have to save this file as a macro-enabled workbook. To do that, click on No, and change the save as type to macro-enabled workbook, and hit Save. Within this code, you will see we are referencing some parameters dynamically from a workbook called parameters. And by saving this and go back to the Excel file we have downloaded, we can see the current workbook is called Sheet 1. And let's change that to parameters. Now, all the prerequisite from a technical point of view are finished. Let's finish the last miles by replacing these values to the Azure OpenAI instance credentials you have access to. And we can get the model deployment name under the studio, under the deployment section. And these are the deployment name that we need. In this case, let's use the GPT-35-Turbo. This is our OpenAI model name. As always, depending on the use case, you may prefer the GPT-4 model. In terms of the OpenAI endpoint and key, let's do some measures so you don't see what is the value behind there. And in terms of endpoint and key. In terms of system message, you can define your own system message. For the purpose of this demo, I'm going to use the default one given by Azure OpenAI Studio. Temperature is an important parameter that we can control. It is usually a float number value between 0 and 1. The lower the value is, the less creative the model will give you the answers. Let's give it a neutralized value, 0.5. The max tokens is a way for you to control the output tokens given by the model. Let's give it a 200. Okay, now everything is set. Let's test the API call directly from Excel workbook to the direction of Azure OpenAI. Now we get our answer back. Notice that we're using the function AOAI GPT directly as if it were another default function provided by Excel. And let's explore another use case. So in this use case, I want to dynamically leveraging Azure OpenAI to generate 3 good names of different categories. How do I do that? Let's insert a function. And we can find our custom function under the category user-defined, Azure OpenAI. And as input, we can combine values from different cells in this case, let's always have the give me 3 good names of as the prefix. And then combine that with a different category. In this case, the prompt will be give me 3 good names of cat. Now there are 3 good names coming out. What about the dogs, cookies, and bread, and beverage contains no sugar? Let's see. It's pretty fast, right? So this demonstration shows you how you can directly leverage Azure OpenAI to interact with your Excel data without worrying about your data being used to retrain any models in the future. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you next time.